Hello, sweet baby angels and pumpkin heads. It is your girl, Miss Tetra Resinstone, and listen, you guys, my little resin rough is not doing too well, so you may hear her crying in the background. We are waiting for the vet to call us back. It's miserable to hear her crying. The way that she sounds, it's just awful. Excuse the background. Listen, I know I'd have to vacuum over here. First and foremost, I mentioned in my last video that I uploaded yesterday that I talked about being a little bit jaded. I hear her. Sorry guys, if you hear her, it just breaks my heart. Anyways, I talk about being jaded. I talk about, you know, my past relationship. And I wanted to kind of dive into that because I don't think I've ever talked about that on this channel. And I want to just do my best to, you know, share kind of my story, and hopefully someone can maybe learn from my mistake of dating someone that I worked with. And I understand how it can happen. You know, you're proxemics. When you're around someone all the time, you may not even be attracted to them, but the more you see them, the more you're around them, you start to vibe, right? You start to feel some type of way. When I got hired at this job, when I first started the job, he was the first person that came up to me, and he walked up to me and he introduced himself. He shook my hand and he was like, "Can I help you?" And I was like, "No, I'm waiting on an interview." I would later find out that he knew I was waiting on an interview. He just wanted to say hi to me. And I just, like, little things like that was really, really cute. He was very attentive. He was very sweet, really good at making me feel good. He was really good at making me want more of his attention. And, you know, I was really standoffish. You know, I was like, I'm not really, you know, like, no, I don't really want to go out with you. Like, we work together. Now, where I worked, the position that I had, we were separate departments. And I only preface this because this will come into play, I believe, later on in the story. So we were in separate departments. We started talking, everything was great, and then he was like really persistent. You know, he wanted to hang out, he wanted to see me, he wanted to go out. And I was always like, no, like, and we would flirt. We definitely would flirt. We wore the tightest pants, bitch. And I'm talking like, bulge was beautiful. I was like, oh my God. You know, I was impressed. You know what I mean? Ultimately, he did wear me down after a few months of actually working there. And his office, we shared a wall, and all of our cubicles were glass. So I could see him, he could see me, so he would always turn around and smile at me. He would pick up the phone and he'd call my desk. Subsequently, we started dating. And after we started dating, we did move fairly quickly. And then somewhere between that moment of us dating and moving quickly and things, my department was dissolved. And now I was moved into his department. So we all became sales folks. And what ultimately happened was I did very well. And what really sucks about this is that my success wasn't something that was really celebrated. It was almost, I feel it made him feel invalidated. I feel like it made him feel emasculated in multiple ways. On one hand, you know, it was great that I was being successful at doing things, but on the other hand, I was doing a job that he did and doing it very well, and some may say better in certain situations. In addition to that, we had managers that were very shady. We had some very shady managers, and the guys there, we worked in predominantly male-driven industry, and the guys there were really, really mean too. They busted his balls all the time. They said, "Oh, she's the breadwinner. Oh, she's doing better than you. Oh, she outperforms you. She wears the pants." And it really did put a strain on our relationship. Whether people knew that or not, behind closed doors, it really did. You know, there was this animosity that began to build. And I really didn't feel like I could celebrate my accomplishments and myself, because it would only piss him off, because he wasn't obviously where he needed to be, and we were direct competitors. And so it was very hard to have that aspect and then also to turn that off when we got home. So we did have that problem in our relationship. Then the infidelities. There was a lot of infidelities on his part. I never cheated on him. I never did anything in that regard. And so it devastated me. I was very hurt. He had one affair with this married woman. They did their thing. And, you know, I found out because the husband messaged me, and I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I was like, okay, this is the first time. And his story made sense. I was dumb and whatever. But the story was, years ago, he worked with this chick and he had an affair with her, and they ultimately, you know, had issues. And so the husband said, anytime you get a girlfriend, I'm going to make sure that she dumps you. As soon as we put in a relationship on our Facebook pages, this is the message I get. You know, he's having an affair with my wife. So I kind of believed him when he told me this. Now, 6 months later, we decide to move in together and get a house, right? So we get this little house. I give him $5,000. We sign our paperwork, everything's cute, everything's great. Subsequently brings that same woman into our house, and he fucks her on my master bathroom. And the reason why I know, and I had to believe that this was true, this is what was going on, is because I get another message from the same guy, and he described the color of my house, he described the interior of my house, he described where my bedroom was, he described everything to a T, that he would have had to have known where I live, or have been in there, or have insider knowledge of who'd been in my house to know these things. And the wife, they were still married, so she felt guilty, and she wanted to tell her husband that, hey, I cheated, and this is da-da-da-da-da. And so they wanted to, you know, expose his ass and get me out of the situation. Well, I had just spent all this money, and I was really pissed, and he had kids. I was really close to his children. I was very, very close to the kids, and I didn't want to lose that relationship with them. I didn't want to lose this family unit, this family system that I had joined and became a part of, and that we were building something together. You know, we just got this house, we were building something, and I was not ready to lose that. I didn't love myself. I didn't want to let go of this dream that I had for us. And so I was like, listen, it's fine. We're gonna get over it. We'll get through it. Let's go to counseling. I'm not ready to lose you. What do I need to do? And I took on that role that it was my fault, that it was my responsibility. And it wasn't. It was never my fault. It was never my responsibility to make him faithful. And he would say, well, you know, I told you, and you know, here's all of my phone access. I am not Harriet the Spy. I am Tetra Resinstone. I don't want to have to fucking work overtime to make sure you're doing what you need to fucking do. And that's for anybody. And the idea that, you know, oh, getting out of my phone, or here's my phone, I'll look through my stuff. I am not going through your stuff. It should not be a job, a full-time job to keep you faithful. You need to keep yourself faithful. So subsequently this happens. I'm pissed, I'm annoyed, everything moves on. Well then, this girl starts at our job, meanwhile, throughout this time. And she's a fucking whore. Listen. By this time, she had fucked 5 guys. It was no secret that she was a whore. It was no secret that she is a cochina. She's fucking gross. She's fucking nasty. She is what she is, okay? And she was an evil person. To this day, she's still an evil person. I have ties back at that company that I know, you know, I'm no longer there, but I have ties with them, and I know her antics have not stopped. She has been running through all the boys, and she set her sights on mine. Ultimately, they have an affair. Oh yes, oh yes. And how does Miss Resinstone find out? My homeboy, my motherfucking homeboy, very innocently, very naively, he pulls up his little Snapchat. Now, your girl, listen, I don't fuck with guys with Snapchats. I don't have a Snapchat. I'm not fucking with you with a Snapchat. I'm jaded as hell, maybe that, but I don't fuck with no Snapchats. So he pulls up his little Snapchat, and my boyfriend at the time was at the lake with his kids, right? Okay, cool. Now we had different schedules. Like I forgot to put that in there. We did have different schedules because we were spending too much time together, and we wanted to like save our relationship. So we wanted to at least have a couple days, because we lived together and we worked together, and we only had one day off together. So it was like we really wanted to have our space apart. So I didn't mind having a separate schedule. I wasn't out there cheating. So he goes out to this lake with his kids, and then we get another chime, and my friend says, oh shit, the whore is there too. Now, as he said it, he realized what he had just done. And he was like, and of course, I feel fucking stupid. And I kept my cool. I was just like, And then he was like, well, maybe it's a coincidence. I was like, yeah, maybe, of course. I think I might have said, fuck that dumb cunt, fuck him. I think I may have gone off a little bit. I don't know. But I want to say that I wasn't like, I didn't burst into tears. You know what I mean? I didn't start crying or anything. Although I knew what was going on. Because at this point, none of them knew I had already forgiven the infidelity that was already going on. None of them knew that yet. So it was like, I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed, and I just was like, okay, I'm gonna keep it together. I'm gonna keep it together. Now, this was going on. I was working. I was doing really well. He'd asked me to do stuff, and I was busy. I was at work. So it was like, your day off is before mine. So if we need coffee creamer, you can go get coffee creamer. Very just petty shit, just to look for reasons to fight with me. And I was just like, I don't understand what I'm doing. Like, what can I do? I spoiled his ass. I did everything that I could to be the best woman for him. And I know people who know me in my real life, I know for a fact they can attest to that. Especially the ones that we worked with who saw that side, and the people that were in our private life. There are multiple cross layers of people who knew for a fact how good I was to him. Essentially, he got really insecure. He was a very insecure man. I got my breasts done. Ooh. So he didn't want me to get my boobs done. He didn't want me to be blonde. He didn't want me to do, like, there was a lot of things that he didn't want me to do. It got to be very oppressive, and he was afraid that I was gonna leave him. He was afraid. And you know, listen, we went to therapy, and these were kind of things that we discussed in hindsight, why he did the things that he did, which is really interesting. But I went to therapy with my ex years later, because it really did affect me. I was really upset. Listen, so he has this affair with this other chick. He denies it. Well, one day I'm working late on a Friday. He got off early and he asked me if I was going out, because I had mentioned, I think I'm going out tonight. And he was like, are you still going out? Are you still going out? When are you going to be home? Are you coming home? What time are you coming home? Are you staying out with your friends? What's going on? It was very suspect of him. And I was like, why are you so concerned about where I'm going? What's going on? You guys, when I tell you, I almost like had an aneurysm. There's somebody from work that you don't like, and they're hanging out. They're at our house. And I knew it was a whore. And I said, get that fucking bitch out of my fucking house. I said, nope, I'm coming now. So I get in my car and I speed as fast as I can. I drove my car so reckless, and this is not, I'm not saying you guys should ever do this, but I was so angry. I was whipping the car. I was like, my check engine light came on, you guys. Listen, I was pissed. My car was freaking out, didn't know what to do. I parked it halfway in the street, halfway in this like parking spot. I was pissed. I run up in my house, take my heels off, and I go flying for that bitch. And of course they stop it. And I was like, get the fuck out, you dumbass whore. And I cussed her ass out. And I was like, you fucking whore. Everyone knows you're a fucking whore. Everyone fucking knows you've already fucked this, and this. And I was like, and for you, you're gonna fuck her? Like, you're so fuck. And then I went off on the friend. Sorry guys, I got a little heated there. But I started going off basically. And I was devastated. I remember the feeling that I had. I looked at him and I lost so much. I lost my house. In this moment, I lost my house. I lost his kids. I really loved his kids. They got really, really close. I lost his kids, and I lost, you know, the relationship, the family. I lost all of that in this instant, and I could tell it was done. And my heart broke. It was awful. And ultimately, karma's a bitch. Karma came back and got him. You know, he lost his best friend because of this situation. Not me, but his actual best friend, who he thought was his ride or die, would never leave him. He left for other reasons. But basically, his selfish, fucked up behavior, narcissistic behavior, caused everyone that really cared about him and truly loved him to leave him out of his life. We left. We bounced. You know, that's the thing. He's a narcissist because he's been traumatized from things in his past, and he's unable to heal from that. And if you don't heal from your trauma, you cannot be emotionally available for someone. If you're not emotionally available to yourself, you can't be emotionally available to somebody else. And unfortunately, this is the case with this man. I wish him the best. I really do. I wish the whore the best. I really do. You know, listen, it is what it is. They're both miserable people. Subsequently, she moves into my house. And we all work together. You can imagine how angry, how hurt, how betrayed, how embarrassed I felt. But I'll tell you this, Miss Resinstone is a classy motherfucker. I kept my shit together. I did not once go buck wild and crazy. And in fact, you guys, listen, I am surprised that this is a true story, but I'm surprised that this actually, so I told my manager what happened, how upset I was that the fucking whore did all these things. I was so upset, I was so devastated. And he told me I had to apologize to her. Excuse me? Come again? Say that again? He told me I needed to apologize to her, so that because he didn't want drama. And he's like, and if there's drama associated, you're gonna be fired, or he'll be fired, or don't listen, you'll all be fired. So you need to make sure that you come out on top. And I said, okay, that's smart, that's a good idea. So I go up to her and I said, hi whore, I wanted to apologize for the way that I behaved last night, because I was angry, and unfortunately, I was angry at the wrong person. I shouldn't be mad at you. I should be mad at him. And I apologize. I was shaking. I was so pissed. I was so, but I did it. I swallowed my pride. I did what an adult professional woman would do. And I moved on. I look back at the situation and I knew their behavior is about to be exposed, like it or not. People are gonna find out, because I'm not gonna keep that secret. People are gonna find out that my boyfriend cheated on me, used me to, get a house, get it furnished. I paid for a designer. Listen, I did all of this shit for this place, used me for all of these things, cheated on me with this girl at work. Now this girl looks like a fucking whore. She's a home wrecker. She's a fucking home wrecker. So we have a home wrecker and a piece of shit guy. Now, they don't need any more smearing from me. How am I gonna be perceived? Because I know how they're gonna be perceived just on their actions alone. With me or without me spreading all the tea, or smearing the mud on the walls, without me doing that, it already looks fucking bad. It already does. So I chose to be seen as responsible, classy, respectable, and a true class act. And I was. And I really, looking back on the situation, you can ask anybody who was around at that time and they will tell you, yes, Miss Tetra Resinstone, she was a real class act during that. And most folks wouldn't have handled it that way. But I knew they didn't need my help smearing them. They were already trash. Their actions spoke for themselves. I had an opportunity to be seen how I want to be seen. And they can say, oh, I played the victim, but it's like, what other card would it be? I didn't cheat on you. I didn't bring a guy from our job into our house. I didn't kick you out of our house. You know what I mean? Like, so I said, you know what? Fuck it. I will be the wonderful woman that I was to you, and I'll be the wonderful woman that I was to you before and after you left me. And you can think about how fucking dumb you are, and you can think about how pathetic you are to leave me for some cochina, some nasty ass, busted the house down boots, stank pussy. Anyways, that was that. And I will say this, I was petty for a moment. The only petty thing that I did do is when I came back to get the rest of my stuff, I made sure that every time she came to my house and she walked around my house, that she was reminded of me. I told her, I said, hey, look at that wall. Do you see that paint? Do you like it? I picked it. Hey, do you like the furniture this way? Do you like it? I picked it. Hey, do you like this bookshelf? Do you like this art? Do you like these pillows? Bitch, I ran through my entire house because I went home and moved in with my dad. I left everything there and I paid for a designer to furnish it. Listen, there was some furniture that he brought to the table, but let's be real. There was a lot of things that I left there. I said, fuck this. I don't want the memories. You're a piece of shit. You ruined it for me. You ruined all of this. So I left a lot of things there and I was like, do you see this? You see that? That was me. That's me. So in every room, in every corner, wherever you go in this house and you look around, Tetra Resinstone is all up over it. And she hated living there. And you know what? I had a little bit of piece of that. Yes, it was maybe a little petty, but fuck this bitch. She took so much and he gave it away. So you know what? They were both trash. Ultimately, they did break up. The story, I moved on. I got extra therapy. I went to therapy double time. I went twice a week and it took me a lot and it really helped me. I finally loved myself. This relationship was so important to me because it really taught me how I really put a lot of value on my relationships and how I put value on him and how I didn't love myself yet. And my EMDR really took off after I went to therapy for losing the family system that I had built with them. So I really am thankful for it. Everything happens for a reason. I am by far a much better person than I've ever been because of what's happened to me in this relationship. And sometimes relationships come and go for reasons. And this was a wonderful one for me to learn that I don't need any man to ever validate me. I don't need any partner to complete me. I'm whole and complete by myself. I'm whole and complete and I'm enough with just who I am and the self-love that I have, that I don't want a relationship. I don't need a relationship. And should I want one, then I could have one. But I don't want one. I don't want one. I don't want one. And I've had comments, in DMs of people, you'll find someone. It's like, I don't want one. Everybody thinks that I have to have like this fulfillment, that I have to have this relationship, that's the goal. And you know what? Maybe for other people, and I think for a very long time, yeah, it was for me. But until I really realized who I am and all the self-love and the really realizing that I am enough with just me, that whole idea kind of left.
So all in all, I definitely learned a lot. I hope you guys learned from my story. Don't ever date someone that you work with, and loving yourself is enough. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe. I will see you in my next one. Bye-bye.